Hi everyone, welcome on back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a retwist with me, and I am working on freshly washed damp hair. I'm going to be trying out foam today, and I've been seeing a lot about the Nairobi foam, so I'm going to be using that today for my retwist, along with some rose water, which I've added into this bottle. And I do use clips on my hair for my retwist. So I'm going to start off by adding some rose water and the foam. And even when I do my retwist with my oil and water, I usually like to add the oil first to help me part out my parts. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just using the foam to help separate my hair and help me see my parts. Now, as far as my parts go, I'm not really trying to get it extremely straight or anything like that. I'm just trying to keep the parts that I have. So I just try to separate it a little bit and clean it up as much as possible, but I really don't focus too much on trying to get it as straight as it used to be. So as you can see, I do have hairs that grow away from the lock, and I've been noticing that, the back area has been separating a lot more. I don't know if it's just because of my new growth and I'm not coloring my hair at this point right now, but it's been separating so much more back here, which I'm not used to since the beginning of my journey. I used to do a lot of that, but it stopped for a while, but now it's back to separating. So I do use the braid method, and I go ahead and just braid down the hairs that grow away from my lock to add them back into my locks. So sometimes it's easy to braid the hairs that separate from my locks because I have enough hair to do a whole braid, but sometimes the hair is so thin, so I do kind of struggle sometimes to add these hairs back in. But if that's the case, I just usually wrap the hair around the lock, down the shaft of the lock, to add it back into the lock and keep it in place. Now we're at the middle of my head, and just the same process with the retwist of just adding the rose water and using the foam. I am a monthly retwister, so every 4 weeks or about every 3 weeks is when I decide to retwist my locks. It's only on maybe like special occasions if I would increase that to 2 times a month, if I have an event or something to go to. But usually I'm just keeping up with the once a month for my retwist routine. So here's just a closer look at the hairs growing away from my lock, and here me using the braiding method. So I separate the hairs into 2 sections, and then the lock is my 3rd section, and I just braid as normal down the shaft of my lock. And usually at the end, there's not enough hair for me to continue to braid. So as you can see, I left out that part there. But I just retwist as normal, and then I'm just going to wrap that excess hair that's left at the bottom around the shaft of my lock. So now we're at the top. And as you can see, different sections of my head separates, you know, all over my head in different sections. It's not every lock that the hair goes away from my locks. It's usually certain areas. So as you can see, it's the back, it's the top, the sides, and some in the middle or like the crown of my head. So I have to do this pretty often throughout the majority of my head. So I feel like my retwists are quicker though, because I feel like in the beginning of my journey I used to take about an hour or over an hour and a half maybe, but now I'm at a good solid 40-45 minutes. So here is the completed retwist with all my locks done, and I do air dry my hair. And here is the final look with the clips removed, and this is just the completion of my retwist routine. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye guys.